All right, y'all, buckle up because this story time gets very messy. My female friend ended up becoming engaged to a man that I used to mess around with, and I'm an openly gay man. You might want to know how I got here. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. So one night I'm at the lounge and I'm with some other gay friends of mine. We're doing what gay men do. We just, drinking, chewing the fat, twerking, dancing, laughing, having a good time. Across this dimly lit lounge, I spot this tall, dark, handsome dude who's giving me a lot of eye contact. But you all, he did scream red flag from the moment I laid eyes on him. He screamed down low. He had a hoodie on, kind of looking around, making sure he's not being watched. So, I typically know that DL men are dangerous and that they're not very good people, but somehow I allow myself to get sucked into his masculine charm. So, he get the talking to me, he get the charming the pants off of me, and he makes me promise that if we carry on an affair, that there will be no selfies. I can't talk to nobody about him or whatever because he have a woman at home. Against my better judgment, you all, I agree to carry on this affair with this young man. Well, things are going, smooth for a few months, as well as can be, when you're dealing with a down low man. But I was on a high, the late night phone calls, the late night meetups, the secret rendezvous in the back of his car, the back of my car, whatever. It was all hot until one month things took a very drastic dark turn for me. I ended up being arrested for forgery and check fraud. I'm not gonna lie, I was that gay boy that stayed in a lot of trouble doing white collar crimes such as, forging checks, all type of stuff. So I end up being sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. You all, when I get out, back the story up. While I was in prison, I was writing, for storytelling purposes, I'm going to call him Marcus, the down low dude. I'm writing Marcus, I'm trying to reach out to him, but, obviously he did what DL men do. He didn't return any of my letters, phone calls, or anything like that, kind of just ghosted me. So when I get out, I reconnect with my A1 Day One, which is my best friend for storytelling purposes. I'm going to call her Tasha. I reconnect with her, and she picks me up from jail, and she's so happy to see me. And, I'm just over the moon. I can't believe that, she still got love for me. A lot of times people judge you for being locked up, and they kind of turn their back on you. Well, she, picks me up from jail, brings me to her house. We have this big celebration dinner, whatever. She tells me it's somebody she wants me to meet. And, she's smiling from ear to ear. So I know that whoever this is, they have her heart. You could have blown me over with a feather when she walks in the door with the guy who I used to mess around with right before I got locked up, Marcus. He and I made eye contact with one another, and he doesn't know how to respond. I don't know how to respond. Obviously, I can't out this brother right here. It's not safe for her, nor is it safe for me. So, I decided to just keep his secret. I just didn't know how to do this. I didn't know how to go along with this whole charade that he was putting on with my best friend. And out of all the females in the world, how could he do this with my female friend? Well, weeks go by, I still don't say nothing, but I'm on pins and needles. I just, I cannot believe that this dude is with my female friend. And worse, they're engaged to be married. This was a nightmare. That is until I get a text from, guess who? Marcus one day. He goes in her phone and had gotten my number and says 3 words: I miss you. Now, yes, a good person would have immediately went to Tosh and said, hey, I got something to tell you. Your fiance and I used to mess around a long time ago, before your time, and now he's texting me saying he missed me, so this is not the man for you. I think you should leave, whatever. I did not do that. I'm a man and I can admit my wrong. Marcus and I resumed carrying on an affair. I did, have a moment of weakness. I fell for him. He was mine before he was hers. Let's just call a spade a spade. So, he and I were carrying on this affair until, and I was conflicted, you all, until what happened a few weeks after that happened. When I had got out of jail, I was back home with my mom. And so my mom was giving me a hard time about getting up working. But obviously, it's hard to find work when you just got out of jail. So anyway, Tasha comes and pick me up one day. She surprises me by taking me to this apartment building and showing me this newly renovated apartment or whatever. And I'm looking at her like, oh, this is beautiful, but why are you showing me this? I can't afford it. I'm not even working right now. And Tasha says to me, I know. She said, she hands me the keys and hand me the lease. You all, she had rented me an apartment in her name and had paid the rent up for an entire year and said, this is for you to figure, this gives you time to figure things out, get yourself a job, and get back on your feet. Well, it turns out that Tasha's grandmother had passed away and had left her an inheritance. And I think the inheritance was around $150K. But anyway, she had taken some of that inheritance and had got me an apartment and paid the rent up for a year. So now, you all, I just felt like shit. I was, sleeping with my best friend's fiance, and I know that he was mine first, but I did not know what to do. But you all, I could not tell Tasha my involvement with Marcus, her fiance, even though he was mine. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But I could not, in good conscience, sleep with Marcus anymore, and I could not allow her to stay with Marcus knowing he was that type of person. So I had to come up with a plan, and I had to come up with one fast. So a few weeks after Tasha had got me the apartment and I'm feeling very conflicted, Marcus gets a text message of an X-rated ass picture. When he gets this ass picture, he responds to it and go, who is this? And a person go, hey, ain't this David? I thought this was my ex-boyfriend David that I'm sending this picture to, whatever. And Marcus responds and go, no, my name is not David. You got the wrong number. And the guy say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I thought you were David. Please accept my apology. To which Marcus replies, well, hell, that ass looking kind of fat. I wish I was David. He had taken a bait. You see, I had talked to a gay friend of mine from my past, and I told him my situation, and we agreed to set Marcus up. So Marcus had took the bait. So they carry on this conversation and agree to meet up. And when they meet up, they become intimate with one another. Well, unbeknownst to Marcus, David had a hidden camera in his room. So he recorded the entire thing, and he was able to send me the video of that intimate encounter. To which I created a fake telephone number through a text-free app. I send the video to Tasha from a random number, and obviously Tasha goes ballistic. She breaks up with him. She comes to me and she's crying and she's devastated, and I had to be there and console my friend or whatever. So as of today, obviously they are no longer together. Tasha does not know my involvement with Marcus, and I promise you all, I have not slept with Marcus ever since. I feel awful for doing it, but that's my story. Obviously, you all know I'm a storyteller. This is not my story. This was sent to me by one of my TikTok followers who lives in Los Angeles, California. Young man, thank you for sending me your story. I do think that you handled that wrong. You should have never, ever got back into an affair with him after you got out of prison, especially after he ghosted you the first time. But I'm ultimately glad that you got him away from your friend safely, because I think that's the most important thing. A lot of women that find out that their men are on a down low, they don't end up making it out alive. So I'm glad you came up with that plan. I think that's the lesser of two evils, rather than having her be unalived. But anyway, thank you for the story.